Yesterday some left over and then some from today. Okay. I like the concept that laws governing the universe and the author of the law, God, are one and the same. That is, the laws are a manifestation of God. Is there any specific reference that validates the statement? Yes, all over. All over the Upanishad, there are statements. In every Upanishad, there are statements. Saha akamayat bahusyam. This being, this Bhagavan, visualized, desired bahusyam, to become as it were many. And satcha tyatcha abhavat, that which has form, that which doesn't have form, everything is this Bhagavan alone. And the same Upanishad will also say that this Vayu, Namaste Vayo, the Shanti mantra itself says, Namaste Vayo, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Asi. That means what? Vayu is Adhidevata, Adhibhuta, Adhyatma, everything. So it is manifest as the laws. So Bhagavan is the law. It says right here, Namaste Vayo. You are Brahman means what? Your functioning and everything is because of Brahman. You are the most palpable form of Brahman. Then later on in the same Upanishad it will say, what does it say? Bhishasmad vataf pavate, Bhishodeti suryaha, Bhishasmad agnischendrascha, Mrityurdhavati panchama iti. Bhishad asmad vataf pavate. It's as though in fear of this law, the wind blows. After saying that the wind is non-separate from the maker of the law. We don't have a separate maker of the law and the law. The law itself is the maker. The maker and the material are one and the same. The effect is nothing but the cause, and the law is what? The law is the law is Bhagavan, manifest as Bhagavan, not a mandate of Bhagavan. Everywhere we have this all over the Upanishads. Then what is the difference between Jnana and Vijnana? Because we find that in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñatva mokshase shubhat. So there jnanam and vijnanam comes and the Upanishad also is there. The Upanishad, let's remove that, if you don't mind. Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying to look at his face and I'm seeing the mic. So fan? Yeah. Only the mic? Yeah. No. If we had to choose between air and noise, we would always choose the air. Yeah. No, the mic, I was not able to see your face, that's all. Yeah. Full speed, all of them. Yes. Please. Fantastic. Thank you. So Vijnana is not science except in vernacular Indian languages. In vernacular Indian languages, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati also perhaps, yeah, Vigyan means science, yeah. So that is what, but not anywhere else, nowhere else. In Sanskritam, Jnanam and Vijnanam, especially if they are used together, they have a technical specific meaning. Jnanam, of course, is knowledge. Vijnanam is well ascertained knowledge. That's all it means. It doesn't mean science. Does not mean science at all. That's only in other languages. So one is knowledge, but that knowledge could be riddled with some doubt, vagueness, etc. The other one is free of error, free of doubt. That's what. Vivekananda said, unlike deep sleep, when a man goes into samadhi, if he goes into it a fool, he comes out a sage. Okay, why are you quoting that? Huh? Then why nobody is telling me? This was all taken, the whole sheet. This one was taken. Okay, I don't have to this thing it. Either it's a snake or a rope. This was also taken? Okay.
No, that was not. Last one was not.
What?
That last one, rope and snake, that was not.
How he took only one out of the whole page? Oh, he wrote it separately, now he wrote it again. I see, okay. So, either it's a snake or it's a rope. Paramarthika or Pratibhasika. It should be the other way around. If you're putting snake first, it should be Pratibhasika and Paramarthika. Okay? Yeah. Where is the scope here for Vyavaharika Satta? Please shed the light. See, the thing is this. Rope is not Paramarthika. In the example, the rope is Vyavaharika only. So, not in Brahman, in the rope snake example, what is rope? Vyavaharika. Because you see the rope, I am also seeing the rope, and if you call a third person, they will also see it's a rope. So, if it is available for everybody, and it is useful, it has a purpose, and it is seen by everybody, then it is called Vyavaharikam Sat. And then what happens? We have Pratibhasikam. Pratibhasikam. What is Pratibhasikam? Mistaking the rope for snake. This is Pratibhasikam. Where is the snake? In my own head. And that is projected over that which is not understood to be what it is. Therefore, it is quickly seen as what it is not. It's easier to see the rope as what it is not rather than what it is. This is Pratibhasika. Okay. Now, this is Drishtanta. The Drishtanta we just have Vyavaharika and Pratibhasika. Now, in the Darshtanta, in that which this exemplifies, what is rope? What is snake? Anybody? Yeah? Yeah. What in the Drishtanta means example. So we have rope and snake. What does the rope stand for? What does the snake stand for? What is this example about? What does the rope stand for? What does the snake stand for? Satyam Mithya, Adhishthana and Aropa or Adhyasa. Okay. Adhishthana means what? Atma. Correct? And then Adhyasa means what? Error. So the error The error that is there and the Atma that is there, the Atma here is mistaken for what it is not, just like the rope is mistaken for what it is not. That much the example. We are not interested in looking at the orders of reality. Yes, snake is pratibhasika, there is no doubt about that, that is correct. Snake is pratibhasika. Every mistake is pratibhasika. So, because it is my own subjective projection, even if we all together sit together and make a collective mistake, it is still pratibhasika. It doesn't rise to the level of vyavaharikam sat. It's also pratibhasika. Now, the truth here is this, that the illustration of the snake and the rope, or the similar illustration, one more is there. What is that? Shuktika Rajat. The shell of the what is that? The shell of the pearl, mother of pearl, and then Rajat means silver. It's a mistake. So now what we see here is that the Atma, which is what? Which is not a cause for fear, which is myself alone, is partially understood, partially known. It is partially known, and therefore it becomes a sitting duck for all kinds of projections. Any projection is pratibhasika anyway, because I am the one having it. So therefore it is the Atma is mistaken for what it is not. That much is the snake rope example. Here we don't try to look for orders of reality. I don't think it will match very correctly, because both snake and rope belong to the vyavaharika and pratibhasikam jagat. And there the Atma is not vyavaharika. What is it? Paramarthika. So there we have paramarthika and pratibhasika, and in fact certain sages, certain philosophers, they have drishti srishti vada. They have come up with a philosophy that eliminates vyavaharika completely. There is no vyavaharika at all. Why? Because when you look at the jagat, it is essentially a subjective view. Because you filter the jagat through your own capacities, through your own imagination, through your own likes and dislikes, the jagat is filtered, and so there is no scope for an objective jagat to be rendered, because the jagat has to go through the buddhi. And when the jagat goes through the buddhi, funny things happen. And so they got rid of vyavaharika satta completely, because the jagat itself is not real. And so why are we giving it any satta at all? Whether it's the jagat which is quote unquote supposedly objectively there, but then it is subjectively experienced, and the subjectively experienced jagat, why are we giving it the time of day? Because the whole point is what? Is to look at the satta, the kind of reality the jagat occupies. Do I want to spend time doing that, or do I want to spend time knowing myself? What do I want to spend time doing? Do I want to spend time in mithya, or do I want to spend time in satyam? And of course everybody will say, I want satyam. Then why talk of mithya? They swallow the jagat up in this drishti srishti vada. We say it is helpful to have the vyavaharika satta, because if we are going and sometimes there are these round stones in the river, round flat stones upon which you can leap and then cross this brook or this river. And so sometimes there are big lily pads. What are they? Lily leaves. On that, some of these giant lily leaves, lotus leaves, there also you can stand and pretend you are a frog and remember the last life and jump from one to another. Now, suppose the leap is too far. So you are trying to go to the next leaf, the next stepping stone, but it is too far. So what can happen? You can jump inside. Inside where? The water. You can jump inside the water. One can jump inside the water into the mouth of a waiting crocodile, possible. And so therefore you need that stepping stone. You need an extra stepping stone. So too, in the beginning of Vedanta study, these three orders of reality make it safe. Because in the other one, there is no place to put pratibhasika. Okay, I am getting rid of pratibhasika, but I don't know paramarthika. I have become ubhaya bhrashta. Neither am I in pratibhasika, neither I am in the subjective reality, and then neither am I in the objective reality. Both ways I am compromised. So, this mid-level satta, what is called vyavaharikam sat, this mid-level satta gives us a reprieve. A place you can stand without the feet getting wet or getting bitten. And so you stand there because the pratibhasika, my subjective reality, has to be resolved by firmly being in Ishvara's reality. What is Ishvara's reality? The Jagat. And so Jagat is also pratibhasika, yes. But there are certain things we can all agree on. We can all say right now the sun has set. Oh, but wait, the sun doesn't set. Never mind. But right now, it is dark outside. That's why we need the lights. We can all agree on that. We can agree that it is hot and we need the fan. Multiple fans we need, we can agree on that. We can agree on the fact that there is a river flowing and it is called the Ganga. Certain things we can agree on. This gives us a footing to come to a certain place of objectivity. Objectivity is vairagya, and for vairagya to give up everything in the mind as it arises, ironically we need the Jagat there. We need a place of dispassion, a place where we can test our dispassion and as a result grow. So we need the mid-level, what is it called? Vyavaharikam sat. We need that. And then when we are firmly in Vyavaharika, have said bye-bye to pratibhasika, one's own pains, sorrows and subjective reality, from there to go to paramarthika is easy, because what do we say next? Everything that is Vyavaharika is paramarthika alone. Everything is Bhagavan. Everything is Brahman. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. From there it's a very small step. But if pratibhasika is not resolved, it's a huge step. That's why it's important to deal with all three orders of reality, even though the school of Prakashatman, the people who say Drishti Srishtivada, they are technically correct. There is only pratibhasika and paramarthika. But what do we say? We say Vyavaharika, and then we convert the Vyavaharikam Sat, we convert the Jagat into Paramarthikam, Brahma. We convert Jagat into Brahman, and so that way we are safe.
Swami, question.
Huh?
I have one question regarding this last question.
Yeah.
That Vyavaharika Satya, we can call it as a subset of Pratibhasika. We can call it as a relative Pratibhasika. Can we?
No, we don't do that. If we are seeing it as a separate order, we don't say it's a subset. We say that it is a transactional reality, it is a place where give and take happens, and it is Bhagavan's projection, not my projection. The whole point of having this Vyavaharikam Sat and its beauty is that from my projections I come to live in Bhagavan's projection. From Jiva Srishti I jump into Ishvara Srishti. There I am safe. So it is not pratibhasika, especially certain things that can be validated by everybody. Unless, we are all in the midst of a terrible dream, we can agree on certain things. So therefore, it is the Jagat is Brahman, and the Jagat is none other than Bhagavan, and then before that is understood, we can say Jagat is Bhagavan's projection, and so from my projection, I go firmly and live in Bhagavan's projection. More objectivity, less pain, less sorrow. This was all seen yesterday. How is witness consciousness? Yeah, this was already seen. All this is seen. This is already seen. Then I would like your thoughts on this. I have heard it said that in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, is not helpful for enlightenment. While I understand that Vedanta demands a thinking mind to get the knowledge, I have this doubt. It seems to me that when the mind is totally still, like deep meditation or an interval at Samadhi, and is not constantly churning, this allows the Atma to shine, and when able to shine, certain insights come directly from God. Certain insights that come directly from God can illumine the darkness. The more the mind gets used to not functioning in its habitual way, the more one can experience the Ananda and realize that God is our true nature. Maybe the thinking and non-thinking modes might be complementary and synergistic, or maybe you need the knowledge already for this to work. Yeah. So, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is another experience. We have nothing against Nirvikalpa Samadhi. We have nothing against any experience either. It's not that Vedanta is allergic to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. No. But it is one more experience. It's like having chocolate. You go have some chocolate, you go have some ice cream, there is a oneness there, and it's a palpable, experienced oneness. You inhale the chocolate, you become one with the chocolate, or the cake, or the ice cream, whatever your favorite thing is, you become one with it, and then after that what? There is nothing more, it's just that oneness, but the experience ends. And when the experience ends, the duality comes back. I am still the same person as I was before I entered into this experience. What was I before? A wanting person, a sad person, an incomplete person, a person, who is feeling a sense of lack all the time. This is what I am. So, if such a person goes into Samadhi, or forget Samadhi right now, goes and has a oneness experience in any way, any number of ways, you go see a movie, and then you are one with the plot, you have forgotten all your life, you have forgotten that you are a wanting person, everything. You go eat some nice food, spend some time with friends, go and also go and have a session, what is called retail therapy. What is retail therapy? Go shopping. Yeah. So you go for retail therapy. There also you forget yourself until the purse is finished. Then you remember yourself. So until the wallet is khali, you forget yourself. And so these are all experiences, and we know that they are all finite. And then after the joy and the oneness, what comes back is the same same I comes back. The I is not any wiser. The I does not have Atma Jnanam as a result of the experience of many, many, many different kinds of oneness that is there. The oneness of conjugal love, the oneness of something wonderful to eat, the oneness of sight, sounds and everything, the oneness of seeing somebody else's life story in the movie, a very compelling plot. All this is oneness. But this oneness has, this experienced oneness has a beginning, and then what else? Also has an end. It comes to an end, leaving me in the same position. In fact, it leaves me wanting more and more and more. Now let us come to Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This also is an experience. It's an experience where the cessation of subject-object takes place, and my argument here is that Samadhi is not the only way where the cessation of subject and object takes place. In sleep also there is cessation of subject-object difference. When you are completely engrossed in the movie, in the book, in the shopping and talking to friends, experience. So you don't particularly need Samadhi. Okay. We can even say that this is some kind of a spiritual experience because it is being talked about in holy texts like the Yoga Sutras, etc. And then, so therefore we have to take it more seriously than the shopping and the eating and the going out with friends, etc. We have to take it more seriously. Okay, let us go there, no problem. Even if we take it more seriously, it is still an internal experience. The other one was what? An external experience. Here it's an internal experience where the witness resolves resolves, and there is nothing to witness. And so the absence of the Sakshi is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where the Sakshi resolves into the I, the Sakshi resolves into consciousness basically. And okay, granted that may just give some idea about the Atma, because when I am having Bahiranga experiences, outwardly focused experiences, what is happening to me? I am constantly engaged, the sense organs are engaged, the mind is engaged. Here, there is no other engagement, and so perhaps the subject-object, what is that called? Difference, the resolution of the subject-object difference is understood. Okay, it may be understood. But again, it has many things in common with other experiences that give subject-object, cessation of subject-object identities. It has the same thing. There was a time where Nirvikalpa Samadhi was not. There was a time where Nirvikalpa Samadhi is. There will be a time where the Nirvikalpa Samadhi will not be. In fact, all it takes is one thought. Aha, what a nice Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And it's gone. And so, that is not going to give you some special knowledge. It's not going to give you some special knowledge about the I. Atma shines when the subject-object is, is resolved. Not true. Atma is shining right now. Even when the subject-object is not resolved, Atma is shining. Atma is shining as object. Atma is non-different than subject. Atma is non-different from the means of experiencing the object. So, in all three ways, Atma shines. It's not that you have to go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, make the Atma shine, and then do this. So, this is just a logical point. The logical point here is that experiences are what? Finite. So, finite experiences cannot give rise to the wisdom of the I as being infinite. Simple logic. You don't need anything else. can Nirvikalpa Samadhi be an auxiliary, an ancillary way in which we can which can help us to want the Atma more, to want the knowledge more? Sure. Then the practice of Nirvikalpa Samadhi will be on a par with Karma Yoga, with cultivating Shraddha, Shama, Dama, Uparati, all this. It is on a par. It will help you to get to the place to embrace this knowledge. So now you said that why can't it be complementary? The non-thinking mode and the thinking mode can be complementary and synergistic. Complementary means not that they are both necessary conditions. No, one helps the other. That's what it is. So both are not together. You don't need Nirvikalpa Samadhi and Shravanam together, because if that were the case, all the acharyas of yore would have suggested it. In fact, there is already a philosophy called Jnana Karma Samuchchaya. Here Jnanam means the Upasana. So the Upasana will help, Karma Yoga will help. You don't need this Jnanam. So there is a whole philosophy like that. So we don't subscribe to that, because the problem is Ajnanam. The antidote is Jnanam. We have to see that, that's all. In time we will see that. So I don't know if this is a continuation or separate one anyway. Separate? I am confused on one point. In one of the camps during Satsang, it was said that one can be born enlightened. If I remember correctly. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So, but but if samsara is due to ignorance, how is it that an enlightened person can take on a new body? Or is there an occasional option available under a special license, special circumstances where rebirth can be chosen even by a jnani? Now, in the Buddhists, rebirth is chosen by their jnanis, all of them. And so, like the Rinpoches, the Lamas, and after the Lama dies away, all his things are kept very safely. And they'll bring a 2-year-old child, 1-year-old child, 2-year-old child. And then they will just leave it free in the room. And then they'll watch. And then there will be the bowl that belonged to the Lama that had Mahasamadhi. And then there will be some other bowls looking just like that. And if it is a true reincarnation, the child will run towards the correct bowl. Not the decoy, not the look-alike. The child will run towards the correct bowl, and then they'll come into the room and they will say, "Why did you choose this bowl?" And the child will say, "It's mine. It's not yours, it's mine." Similarly, they will put many tests like this. It will take, there will be holy scrolls which the previous Lama had read and written and commented upon, and along with the same holy scroll, some other scrolls which look just like that will be kept. It will choose the right scroll. So in Tibetan Buddhism especially, then there is and in Buddhism in general, there is the concept of the Jnani feeling sorry for all the sentient beings and taking birth in an enlightened form in order to alleviate the suffering of all the sentient beings. Even Buddha is supposed to have done that, and in the avatara of Kuan Yin, a feminine avatara, he is supposed to have taken. And so like this, there are many stories. In our tradition, you don't say that the Jnani takes birth. In fact, one of the few perks of, there are many perks, I'm just joking, One of the few perks of Jnani is not having to come back. Okay, that's the hallmark of the Jnani. Natasya pranaha utkramanti, does not come back. Now if that main perk is taken away, then what's the use of Jnanam? If I'm going to be born again and again and again, like a broken record, I'm back, stuck. Same thing. What's the point of becoming vegetarian? What's the point of pursuing the Veda and Vedanta? What's the point of standing in one leg in the Ganga and doing tapas? What's the point of all this? No point at all. So yes, the Jnani is not reborn. No choice, nothing is given, and given the choice, the Jnani will say, no thank you. Yes, anybody else can be reborn. I don't want to be reborn. No Jnani is going to say, okay, I think I'll have one more life. Nobody will. Even if the choice were there, the Jnani would not be reborn. Now, I was not at that satsang and I do not know what was said, but supposing, let's say you are correct, and let's say whichever Swami was leading the satsang said it is possible to be born enlightened, no problem. We have a way how that is possible. So it is possible that in the previous life one studied Vedanta. In a previous life one also did all the karma yoga. One took care of anger, one took care of early childhood pain and unconscious mind, one took care of all the things. And then what? Most of the desires were taken care of. One or two desires were still there and they were strong enough to cause another birth. So such a person will be born near enlightened, like Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan, and so many other examples that we know, where there is just a little, like a little remembrance is all that is needed to bring back everything, to bring back that Atmajnanam. So this birth is just for that little recollection and to exhaust the desires that were not able to be fulfilled in the last birth. Like even that, what was that? One Bharata was there who was a sage and who fell in love with a deer. Totally fell. Jada Bharata later, but before he was not Jada Bharata, he was some kind of a sage. And then in the next life he became Jada Bharata. Next life he became deer. After that he became Jada Bharata. Yeah. So this sage was very quote unquote, enlightened, had self-knowledge also, but the love for the deer was the cause of the next birth. So it is possible that the Jnani or the almost Jnani is born as though, and to all the other people, he or she will look like a Jnani, because they seem to be so much more advanced than everybody else. They have no raga dveshas, they manage their anger, they are able to carry themselves, all these things. And so therefore, this Atmajnanam is such that it erases the need for birth. But if somebody says somebody was born enlightened, we have to add an almost there. Almost enlightened, and then there was a kind of a memory that came back. And a beautiful example Adi Shankara gives in the Upadesha Sahasri. The memory that came back is like the sage, I forget the name of the sage, a sage tapped Rama on his shoulder. When? After the Ramavatara was complete. Hello, you are Bhagavan, your role is done. And he who had identified with the role in order to fulfill it, suddenly comes out of it, just a tap on the shoulder. So that is like an almost Jnani, as though being born. Okay? Yeah. Any other question? Okay. Have a nice weekend. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्री गुरु